Did you recently hear the news about New York monitoring meat consumption? No, but it doesn't surprise me at all. I mean, this is obviously the direction the global elite want to take the world. They don't want you to eat meat. Again, if we're going to look at this through the lens of their two main objectives, that would be decreased population and decrease energy use. Less meat, less protein, less testosterone, less people making babies, fewer babies, lowers population. I mean, I have nothing to prove that other than just kind of common sense and taking their stated objectives and then kind of reverse engineering. One thing I said on Twitter that I think is very true and helps you understand the world around you quite a bit better is you'll notice once you take those two things again, lower energy consumption and decreased population, you'll notice that any policy, whether its stated objective has anything to do with those two goals or not, the net result is that you will have that outcome if there is a consensus with the global elite as far as XYZ policy. Let me give another example. Let's look at this whole push with oh my gosh, in Canada now it's not just LGBTQ plus. I think it is, if my memory serves me right. In Canada, that's nowhere near inclusive enough, obviously. Now they're doing 2S LGBTQ plus. I feel like it's an exam in like grade school, or I don't know if you guys went to a private school. Remember when you had like memory verses, like you'd have like 2 or 3 sentences in the Bible that you'd have to like memorize, and you'd have to go in the next day and repeat that in front of the whole class or whatever. I feel that's at the point right now where we are with this insanity. But if you don't know what 2S is, I actually had to look that one up. I'm actually very proud to say that I had to look that one up. That is two spirit. Now, I don't know what two spirit is, nor do I care. And I'm sure it's just something that they concocted just to virtue signal that actually has no meaning. And the amount of human beings that would identify as that, I could probably count on my one hand on planet Earth. But of course, we've got to change the whole phrase just to be more quote unquote inclusive, right? But what's my point? My point is, if we push this now, should we be fair and should we be accommodating? Should we be open to people that have a different, let's just say, sexual orientation? Of course. But there's a difference between being open and pushing this on society. There's a big difference, especially when you're involving kids, right? You go look at the whole Target thing with all the rainbow deals. All the proponents of this just say, oh, who cares? Or what are you mad at some kid wearing a hat with different colors on it? No, you idiot. It's what those colors represent. And it's not that I'm against that, but I am against having to explain this to a kid because at the end of the day, whether you like it or not, this involves a topic that probably isn't appropriate for a 6-year-old, for heaven's sakes. I mean, I went on a rant about this the other day on a live stream that we just had these things. Actually, I've got them written down right here. Back when I was growing up, whether you're on the left, right, progressive, conservative, liberal, it just didn't matter. Anarcho-capitalist, communist, it didn't matter. There were just basic things that we could all agree on. Number one, don't show kids porn. And that's basically what we're talking about. I mean, it sounds crazy to say that we're actually having to debate this right now. Anyway, I'm going to get off that rant. But my point here is that pushing this, does this mean fewer babies in the future or more? It means less. Now, I'm not going to say that, being welcoming and all these things, but pushing this on society, that means that there's most likely going to be fewer babies born than there otherwise would be. Okay. So that's the main objective of the global elite. Okay. So I can assure you that all the global elite will be on the exact same page when it comes to this topic, right? So any topic, as far as transgender kids, as an example, I guarantee you all the global elite will have the exact same opinion. And that opinion is that we need to push this because at the end of the day, the net result, I'm not going to say it's good, bad, whatever, you be the judge, but the net result is fewer kids born. If more and more kids are changing their sex before they're 12 or at any point in time, they're most likely going to have fewer kids. You see, Abortion, easy. Fewer kids. Then I can guarantee you that all the global elite will have the exact same opinion on it. So, you go back to COVID as an example, and there were a few things just using common sense and a few red flags that helped you pretty much predict everything, right? Whenever the mainstream media was saying something that just didn't make sense, it was always because they were lying and that you should believe the opposite of what they were saying. And that was a very, very good North Star. So again, now I would suggest using that as a North Star. Two objectives, use that as a framework, look at everything through, whether it's hiring, whether it's all these woke marketing executives at Bud Light or Anheuser-Busch, Target, wherever they are, just look at it through the lens of lower population, less energy use. And magically, everything starts to make sense.